Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective, John Tran. We're going live. I see the likes are being smashed. The likes are up as normal. Tran, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Excited to talk to the people. Hopefully you
hmm
guys can hear us okay. If you have any issues, let us know in the chat. We both have the chat up here. Appreciate everybody jumping in. Make sure that's how we take attendance is when you jump in the chat. Yeah, it's automatic. You hit the like button. It's hand in hand. So make sure we remind each other throughout when everybody joins in. A few housekeeping things. Horns Illustrated, the 2020 football preview is out. It is digital. They have a Horns Illustrated app, or you can go to the website to download the digital copy. Yours truly was featured a part of the pundit picks. So all of your favorite Longhorn platforms, we all gave our picks for everything this season. It was an honor to join them on that, and it's a great addition. So check it out, Horns Illustrated 2020 football preview. Ricky Williams and the great Earl Campbell on the cover. So Tran,
Yes,
how
sir.
are you? It's coming off a dominant weekend, and we've had some time to, some drama, right? And
hmm
all sorts of craziness going on. So I gave my thoughts. Just want to kind of get the serious stuff out the way first, especially as people are jumping in. I gave my thoughts on BJ Foster. Tom Herman spoke on it at the Monday press conference, and he was very, very straightforward in terms of how they decided to handle the situation, what BJ did, and him apologizing to the team, to the staff, and them welcoming him back and giving him that second chance and saying, hey, you do what you need to do. Discipline, punishment will be, levied out. But after that, it's water on the bridge. We'll move forward. We also heard from DeMarvion Overshone and Coburn and other players who did back BJ Foster, said they love him and they're willing to welcome him with open arms. So I just wanted to get your take on the whole situation from Saturday to present day now.
So as the players are backing him, we as fans should back him too. Um, we can't downgrade what's going on in the kid's mind. Him being a 5-star and being passed up by underclassmen, it's something that's rough for a young.
I lost you. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so it's a little bit rough to just point the finger and say, hey, he did wrong, which he did. But and I never will blame a kid for wanting to move on from a school. It's just the way he did it. Him walking out on the team is the rough part in the middle of a game. Even doing it in the middle of a season is pretty harsh. But the way that was handled, I hope he uses this as a as a growing moment. Also, I want him to lean on someone like Josh Moore. Josh Moore went through something that's way worse than this, and
Yeah.
he was welcome back with open arms as a leader too. Everyone talked very highly of him when he was just training with the team. So he has to step forward as a leader. I am impartial to him because his cousin was always good to my family whenever we met him,
Mhm.
and I want nothing but the best for our players. Especially, I was extremely excited when he signed with us. I knew he was kind of going to sign with us, but I just hope that I hope that he uses this as a learning moment. Because he's going to be asked this in every single one of his NFL meetings if he gets those, if he gets that far. The first question they're going to ask is, "Why'd you quit on your team?" And
Right. Yeah. And before he even gets to that point, yeah, Chris Brown's an upperclassman. He's a senior, but the point being still, before it gets to the NFL point, he's just gonna have to regain the trust of guys.
mhm.
I can love you, right? Like we all have that family member. I love you, but I may not trust you, right? In certain situation. So it's on that time heals all wounds in a lot of ways, and that's just going to take time. And it's going to, and like you said, you heard how emotional Joshua Moore was at his presser this week, and not just for him, but for his family. And I know
Mhm.
BJ feels the same way for his family and just wanting to make everybody proud, but also that pressure. And you get upset. And and we've talked about it on Monday, but I do want to chime in just on one other thing, two other things. So I had said it initially, and I checked myself on this about what should the punishment be, and if it was me, I may sit the kid down for a whole year. I do want to reevaluate that in terms of what I said. Maybe that was a little harsh as well. I think what they're gonna do is just play it by the situation, and there's no time limit per se on how long you're out. It's just when we all feel comfortable that you can go, because from a standpoint, he was going to be needed
Mhm.
this year, and they were, you know, he was a part of the plan, maybe not running out there with the first 11, but I do want to revisit what I said, and I'm gonna walk back the whole out for the whole season, especially after listening to a lot of the logic. You guys left some excellent comments um, on the BJ video on Monday, and a lot of people were thoughtful. Some people shared some personal anecdotes about things they've dealt with and moments that things they've done that they're not proud of. So I I um I feel as though that you have to kind of push this forward from a standpoint of playing it by ear and just being connected with the young man. The second thing I wanted to bring up was our friend that's a UFC or USC fan, Trojan fan, said, "Hey," he kind of gave me a pushback on the comment I made about pushing back against authority, and I want to clarify that. I'm not saying you should ever be disrespectful to the coaching staff. It's yes, sir, yes, ma'am, right? But at the same token, whether it's in the professional realm, whether it's teachers, whoever, you deserve to ask for feedback.
Mhm.
If you go in and you're interviewing for a job and you don't get the job, you can go and ask them why'd you go with somebody else, or why wasn't I good enough, or what can I work on? You can challenge people, right? No one should teach you anyhow. Or if you feel like, if BJ really felt like he was working hard, because you see these brothers that get cut in the NFL all the time, especially this year where there was no preseason. They'll be like, "Yo, I was balling at camp. I don't know why they cut me." And it's like the people that are there are like, "No, you weren't." Right? Like there's a disconnect, right? So we got to be honest with each other. But if he genuinely, any player, right? If they genuinely feel like they were balling out, they were doing everything the coaches asked them to do, and now because you see this a lot in high school football, where you'll have parents even get involved, right? And we've all seen it. Y'all can chime in the chat too. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You've seen parents come in and say, "Oh, my baby's doing everything, and they're not getting to play." Woo, 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 and it causes all this drama. And there's a disconnect there because it's like your son's doing okay, but somebody else is literally doing everything, or we can trust that person more. So just having that element of being able to communicate there is very, very important. And that's, you see, the great coaches are able to always connect with their players in that regard. And that's why I also said this is a test for Chris Ash and the Texas coaching staff. But we have to give credit to Tom Herman, how he's handled this entire offseason, how he's handled this situation. Yeah, I think we're starting to see him mature as a head coach, and even speaking to the media. Like I didn't even like. I think it was Nathan or somebody. I didn't even like when he told everybody what happened with BJ's hand. Like sometimes you don't have to disclose every single detail about something and protecting your players. And I think we're seeing Tom learn those things real time, and that's exciting to see. So let's see what's going on. Guys, I'm drinking water. I'm not drinking tonight. I got a lot of stuff going on. I just needed to keep, knowing how long we're going. I needed to hydrate. It's high quality H2O. All right. So, see, we got some Sooners fans here. Welcome. Congrats on your victory against Missouri State. Um, Spencer looked good. I did get a chance to see some of their film. Let's
Sipping
see.
on that boss's ranch.
sipping on that Boss's Ranch. Hey, we might get a comeback with Boss's Ranch. We'll see. You never know. High quality H2O. All right, so let's get on to the game because I haven't talked to y'all about the game. um, how many of you guys got a chance to rewatch? Tran and I went to the game, so we had to come back and watch the TV, the TV footage and really get a chance to see different angles that we may not get to see in person, replays, things of that sort. And one of the things you can pay attention to a lot more when you're kind of fast forward and rewinding is line play, right? The trenches, what's going on there. So I no, no sarcasm. I'm a nice guy, John. I'm a nice guy. So yeah, Sam, the game is up on YouTube, wherever you want to watch. But just some of the things that stuck out to me on the rewatch, just starting out. I love the fact that our best players set the tone at the beginning of the game. And I know like it was something I was somewhat cognizant of as the game was happening, but when you look at like Sam Ellinger, Joshua Moore, and we're gonna get to Joshua Moore here in a second, Tran, because we were early on him. Um, but on the defensive side, our first series, right? Like Joseph Osai makes a great play. DeMarvion Overshown gets a tackle for loss. Just seeing that explosiveness of our best guys, the guys we've been waiting on, and seeing them attack. So that was really, really cool just to see the captains, guys like that set the tone, right? So just wanted to get your impressions on how we started out and everybody else here in the chat.
So I just love the fact that we started out strong on both sides of the ball, like you stated. I don't think that we gave up a first down for the first four of their offensive drives, I think it was. But and then we gave it 3 first downs in a row, and I think they kicked a field goal. But we were there, and we were playing sound defense. We were playing the receivers perfectly well. You didn't see a lot of flags. I mean, there were some false start penalties. I think there was a hold penalty. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was the perfect, I think, culmination of the whole season, just mashed up into the off season, mashed up into this one tune-up game for us. So I'm hoping that this is we build off of this, because like we said in the actual recording at 1:00 in the morning,
Right.
was
Right.
that there were a lot of coaching opportunities within the game. And it's a great thing to see someone like Sam step forward and say, I don't think I had that great of a game because I left so many open throws on the table. There's so many opportunities. There was even something going on. I think you sent it to me, was a bad read where he missed Josh Moore on a wide open touchdown.
Right. And he scored. Yeah, I want to talk about that one. So that
Yeah.
was interesting because I think that's one of the plays they were alluding to. Yes, Cade Brewer got in on the party, got a 20-yard, I think it was like a 20-yard touchdown. But on that particular play, and this is what the NFL is looking to see, right? When somebody flashes like that, and this is, to be honest with you, they're going to have to get used to this with Josh Moore because he gets separation so quickly, right? So he wins immediately. Now, it may have been a coverage breakdown on behalf of UTEP, but Sam he missed that first window, hits Cade Brewer. The issue with that one, though, is Cade Brewer, the way the coverage was set up, if we're playing against a better team, that may potentially get is a PBU or interception. So while we get the stats and we got the play and it worked, right? And we saw this later in the game, I believe with Tariq Black when he fumbled, right? And he threw the ball blind. Just seeing those windows earlier, and that's the beauty of it. That's when you really want to learn, right? Is when you're having success, you still get the dub, you still got a great play, but it's still a teaching moment where we knew, hey, we kind of screwed up there, we got lucky, versus getting punished for it. And so those are things we want to see, and that some of that's just coming with rust, not having those game reps, and it's to be expected. He's not a perfect quarterback by any means, but we do see the ball placement is getting better and better. When he was on and he had his reads and knew where he was going with the football. We had some miscommunication. Some of it was receiver related, like Brennan Eagles, who we'll also get to. And then some of them, he's just got to be a little bit more sharper with his reads, and that'll come And that's what I'm excited about throughout the season with Mike Yurcich, because Mike Yurcich pulled it back just a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's thinking philosophically, hey, I ran this play because we're setting this up in week 5, right? And down the road. These are some concepts that we're setting up for you to execute against when we see this type of look or this type of coverage. So all of that is very, very exciting. I do want to get over to, so I see a lot of you commenting about the right side of the offensive line. If we were to probably highlight outside of the punter, a weak point from this game, in my opinion, looking back at it, the right side had some issues. Okay. Specifically, I would say in the run blocking department. The first run that Bijan Robinson, I think it may have been his first or second carry, Denzel Okafor falls down on his and it's just like there's a lane where Bijan can actually run, and he doesn't get to his block. He falls down. We had earlier in the game, I believe on the second drive, now where Kerstetter got called for holding, and it was
Mm-hmm.
Roshan's biggest run where I think it was like a 35-yard run, and he got the face mask. But Kerstetter got called for holding. That's whatever. We knew some of those things were going to happen. But even then, Denzel Okafor, that could have been a bigger play, and he hesitates and doesn't get to the next level. He kind of gets a couple hands on him. So we're starting to see and Denzel Okafor being an upperclassman, if you're going to play like that against UTEP, then I need to see the younger guys in there like a hook fin. Like at
Yeah.
that point, because then it's just like net, I need to go with the younger person. If you're going to make those type of mistakes or have poor efforts in those moments, they had moments where they moved people. I expected Christian Jones, like I felt like Christian Jones was a little bit better, and wasn't just like falling on the ground, but like it was just a little disappointing to see him on the ground as much as he was. But our backs are really good. Our left side's really good. So we still ran for over 200 something yards. We still averaged about 6 yards a carry. But that was disappointing for me. And I think that's something where Herb Hand's going to have to make, over the next week or so. I think you give Denzel another shot against Tech, and let him try to clean those things up. Because the other thing, going back to quitting, right? And I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm just really excited to get through this. When we talk about quitting goes both ways. You've seen coaches quit on kids too. We see that happen, right? And so I do think that you can give somebody and be transparent with them, say, hey, you really struggled here. We have another young bull ready to go. You can't be a liability, or else we're going to put the young bull in there. I think that's a fair thing to say to Denzel Okafor.
Yeah, no. Does anyone have a statistic on the percentages of which side we ran up? Because to me, it looked like we were running up the right side on purpose, just to kind of see what we had at that spot. Because we know our strong suit is our left side. So I'm very interested to see our play calling to the right side, to see like and actually break it down by grade by per play, because the only person you really called out that had negative plays were Denzel Okafor. So I'm pretty sure that won't be the case, but that's something that we needed to see on film, and the coaches needed to see on film to actually make that judgment call whether they're gonna split time right there on the right tackle or in the right guard with the backups, and just use the plug and play at this point, because we do have Tech coming out, and Tech honestly didn't look that impressive on defense. So I think these two games are good little tune-up games for our offensive line to find the right selection of players and the right mesh for that whole unit.
I agree. And it was great to see the backup guys in there. That's one thing, and I still feel this way on the rewatch. I just like the fact that whoever came in the game, they seemed to know what they were doing. Forget the opponent, right? Just knowing your assignment, knowing where to step. My DBs didn't look lost in space, right, when they were out there across the board. So, it does speak to the coaching staff and everybody that was out there. I want them to, I want it for Denzel. He's a really good kid, but we got to win. I mean, we're going to get to the Big Ten here in a second. We got to blow people out this year,
Mm-hmm.
especially now that they're back and the Big 12. Like the perception of this now, I don't worry as a Texas fan. I don't worry about the rest of the conference the way some other people do. I've always felt if we handle our business each and every week, we won't have a problem getting to where we want to go. However, your margin for error falls when your conference sucks. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And right now, the perception is the conference sucks, period. So we don't have time to have gaffes or wait on, certain guys and we're struggling and we're getting by here. We've got to be, this is the year of the bull, man. We got to be aggressive and go straight forward. John Matthews dropped $20. There was that, man. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you,
So
sir.
everybody drops 20 on Steven and Tran for all the hard work they put into the channel for us. Without them, 90% of us wouldn't even know what the hell's going on anyways. Thank you. Now, you guys we're a very informed fan base. I know y'all, I learn a lot from you guys as y'all do from Tran and I. So very, very appreciative of that, John. Thank you.
Jeez.
Connor drops another 20. Man, you guys I really, really appreciate it. Kai Money. Connor, I appreciate it, man. Love you. Kai Money. Hey, Kai Money, a testament to the hard work. I saw they had a thing, I think it was on Burn Orange Nation, talking about the walk-on program and how we've developed that under Tom Herman. When you look at Court Jaquez and guys like Jet Bush, Kai Money, who gets in there and gets a touchdown. Tran, did you know we had 7 different people catch a touchdown pass on Saturday? That happened at the University of Texas.
That's awesome. I think we went over it, that there was 7 or 8 people that had multiple receptions.
Yeah, multiple receptions. And then
I
there were
can't
7
remember the
different
last time they did that.
7 different players caught a
Caught
touchdown.
a touchdown. So
It
the distribution's fantastic, and I mean it's already showing the usage effect. So I'm just excited to see where it goes from here, because he does have a grown a senior quarterback that he gets to play with, a guy who has nothing but experience, so he could throw the whole book at him and let him learn it. And this is a time for Sam to actually put on a show, because he could actually go up draft boards. Like you said, preseason someone had him as a second round grade. So
yeah, no, the Sam stuff, this is the first week. And like I said, that's why we have to grade him, though. If we're going to gas him up, we got to grade him at the highest level. So even the throws he complete, and I'm not saying we're nitpicking to the point where we're like, nobody's ever done what he did in the first half in the history of our school. Okay, so like that needs to be acknowledged too. He balled, and granted, yes, UTEP. I made this comment and a brother called me out on this the other day. I said UTEP was the worst team we've played under Tom Herman. He said San Jose State in 2017. San Jose State in 2017 won 2 games and they won a conference game. UTEP literally won 1 game, I believe, against another FCS school. I don't even think they won a conference game last year. So we can nitpicking, but the bottom line is, regardless of opponent, we haven't been able to generate that type of production. We haven't shown that type of tempo. We haven't gotten all these other people in the game also being efficient in the game. So that needs to be highlighted. Okay. Now, from a standpoint of Jake Smith, they're saying Jake Smith should be ready for Tech. So when we're talking about the backup H, I agree with Kalos. I think it's probably going to be Joshua Moore slides over there. They were already using him a little bit in and out, and I think you're going to see Joshua Moore line up all over the place. I really, really do. Nathan, $20. Wow, this is a record for
wow.
our chat. You got, like, seriously, Josh Cano, like,
Wow.
no, like, seriously, love you guys. Love you guys. And y'all are just dropping money. I mean, speechless, man.
Brock Lesnar greater than Brock Purdy.
Brock Lesnar greater than Brock Purdy. Joshua Cano, hooker, man. Appreciate y'all. Also, want to give another shout out to our friend Dodge Blue Dow, who we saw at the game. It was really, really nice, him and his family. Overshown looks comfortable at linebacker. Bill said he does. Overshown. I didn't realize how good a game he played. That was another one of my
He's
notes.
defensive player of the week.
Yeah, I had like watching the game live. I was like, oh, Josh Thompson was unbelievable, which I still feel that way.
Which he did. He was great.
Right, but I didn't realize. Like I saw, there were plays where Overshown would scrape and he gets the ball, but you kind of take it for granted. And even early in the game with his run fits, beating. This is where we're going to have a lot of success with him, where he's playing. He's going to be able to beat these big ass offensive linemen to their spots and get underneath them, and the running backs aren't going to know what to do. And I love the fact that he brought up Isaiah Simmons in his presser. I'll always love players who study other guys' film, especially guys who resemble them, played recently here, right? Or at Clemson, and played recently within the realm of college football. And they're like, I want what that guy has, right? I saw what that guy did, and that's what I'm going to do to tailor myself. And he was somebody who did go to the coaching staff and say, what's the best way I can be utilized? That's another thing, right? BJ Foster, listen, right? Go to the Roshan Johnson did the same thing. What can I do, right? How can you use me? How can we use my gifts, right? Let's be collaborative here. DeMarvin Overshown had that attitude. So
our chat's blowing up, dude.
The chat is blowing up. JM Friend Texas, $20. Look forward to your uploads. Keep them coming. God bless y'all.
Jeffrey.
Awesome. Dr. Janelle, I appreciate it. Thank you. $25 donation. Alan Ewing, you guys have been around for a while.
Yeah.
Dr. Janelle, I remember we met you last spring game. You've been doing good. And Alan Ewing, like you guys are the base and the
day ones.
Day ones and the base of this channel. Robert Overcash said I finally caught a live chat. Welcome. Yeah. So Kailash, you said you think Green wins the second corner spot sometime this season. Who between Josh Thompson or do you think or Jameson? I mean, those guys looking pretty good right now, man. And I like Jalen Green, and he was fine. He was fine.
I think we had a good problem.
Yeah, and then you also have Kenyatta Watson.
Yeah, we got a good problem within the DB room. It reminds me of the early 2000s where it was just nothing but competition, where it was just beast across the board, and that's what I'm happy that we're getting back to.
I love the fact too of like you said, the competition and their skill sets are different. And when you have guys with multiple skill sets, Kenyatta Watson's the freak, right? He's got the crazy vert. He's very fast. Josh Thompson's like the sprinter, but he's crazy aggressive. You have the playmaker type in Deshaun Jameson, who's the shark. And then you have the big corner in Jalen Green. You have a whole bunch of different type of dudes you can throw out there depending on matchup, right? Because Oklahoma State's going to present problems that are different from Oklahoma. And now we can play chess, right? I don't need to just throw out the same people all the time and pray. Also, we have depth from an injury perspective. COVID right now, we've seen it in college football, saw it in the first weekend in the NFL.
Yeah.
It is an effect in terms of somebody tests positive, somebody gets injured. These are all things we to be concerned about. So I'm just very, very thankful for the room we have right now. Anthony Cook, I put that in the nickel position, right, with him and Chris Adam Moore. So that's another, but that again, Anthony Cook played well. Anthony Cook had a tackle for loss and came in there and did his job and was humble. So I mean, how can you not be excited about these guys? Josh Thompson's playing for a draft pick. Thank you for bringing that up, Dustin. It's now or never. And Josh Thompson, Sam Ehlinger are roommates, both a part of that transition class, right? That first class for Tom Herman. This is their last ride, right? This is their, hey, we got to do what we got to do as seniors. This is our football team. Josh is like, I got it on defense. Sam's like, I got it on offense. Let's go. And I love the fact that those guys are brothers now. So let's keep it up. Will Green, thank you for the wonderful words. I appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome too, by the way.
Tyler Owens, I don't know if y'all saw him. He made a wonderful play on special teams.
He was great on special teams
Yeah.
as a gunner. So, I mean, I think they found a perfect spot for him right now to utilize his raw talent. Just utilize his big body and his speed. So at this point, I haven't seen enough on the defensive side for him to just be thrown into a linebacker position like you're requesting. Because there's a lot that goes into it. He's just a beast athlete and everything like that. But between the ears, you're the quarterback of the defense and the linebacker position. So he would have to have a lot to learn before he jumps over even Benda. So that's my opinion.
Right. I do want to say, just from a standpoint of just looking at some of the comments here, we do need to touch on the injury to Jordan Whittington.
So real quick, I mean, you and I have talked about this even when they recruited him. We were really excited about him. I knew about him because my wife is actually from Victoria, Texas, and when we drive to Victoria, Texas, we drive through Cuero. And Christy would always say, yeah, they're a powerhouse. And I said, yeah, there's this one kid on here that Texas is really looking hard at. And then after knowing that, I started watching his recruitment tape, and I noticed he was their everything, which we talk about this all the time is usage rate. He was their everything. He brought them a state championship, and legitimately it was him.
And the most legendary, one of the most legendary performances we've ever seen
for a state championship. Yeah. And it just begs the question, did they use him too much and did he get worn out? And once you get one injury and you don't let it heal properly, something else gets aggravated. It's just something that I hope he actually takes the time. Like you and I talked about this when they said, hey, he's just having a knee scope for his meniscus. It should be 4 weeks. I hope he takes 6 to 8 weeks, honestly. I personally do. Because I don't want this to be happening over and over again.
It is. I mean, it is different from the groin, but I hear you in terms of the injuries that are adding up for him.
But what makes him so special is his agility.
Yeah.
And his knee. I mean, honestly, I've had it where I just landed and my knee slipped, and 3 cracks later, I'm not walking for 3 months. So I don't want anything like that to happen to him because he's too special of an athlete to say, hey, what would have been, if he just took off a couple more weeks and just rehabbed a little bit more.
Sadly, I mean, I hear you, man. I don't know what the solution is because if the player's ready to play, I don't know how you hold him back other than just trying to slow play it so much. He is at a position of need. I mean, we were just talking about who's going to be. I think it was Tracy that was asking who's going to be the backup at H if he's out. And then right now, the guy that's playing H, Jake Smith, didn't play this past week because he had a hamstring issue.
Deshaun Jameson, baby, just pull him all over the place.
Be like Charles Woodson.
Yeah, but get him a Heisman.
It just sucks because when you see him play, like you saw him in the game, the explosiveness, not just the explosiveness. We knew about that. That's why he was rated what he was. But the competitiveness. And what do I mean by that? Well, like when the ball was in the air and he just took that thing and took off, like he has this mentality, like even he almost scored on that reverse where he has this FU mentality, like get off me. But he's like, he's going crazy, right? And like, that's how he plays football. We saw that. That's how we all fell in love with him in high school. So I don't know what you do there. Dejon Harrison, I think he's coming off of something because that's the brother that came out of Hutto. Then Calvante Dixon is injured. Yeah, he's injured right now, or else we would have saw him in the game. So, and he was coming along too. From what I heard in the practices before. I mean, think about the people that aren't even there right now. That's just 4 people we name, right? Kelvonte, we didn't name Troy O'Mary, but Kelvonte, Troy O'Mary, Dejon Harrison, right? Like, I mean, that's a lot of dudes that are just out right now. And while you got to see some of the more like Kai Money's out there that took advantage of their opportunities. Nicholas, thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Hooker from San Antonio. It's good.
210.
It's good. Wow. You guys are killing it today.
Yeah.
Over $160 in the chat, and we just started. I mean, football's back. I think that's what that tells us, right?
Yeah,
Deshaun
I'm sure.
opted out. Okay, I wasn't aware, but I know he was dealing with something even when he was working out, because he was working out with Killebrew. You remember Robert Killebrew?
Yeah, Robert Killebrew. Yeah.
Yeah, he was working out with Robert Killebrew in the offseason. Dejon Harrison, that is.
Steven Tran, heard my buddy Noah say yours is recruiting the Brockemeyer brothers. I'm sure he is recruiting the Brockemeyer brothers.
He's recruiting a lot of people right now.
It'd be stupid for him not to. Do I still think that I'm going to put it past a 10% that they'd flip? No, probably not. Unless we put two people in the NFL this year in the top 3 rounds. Linemen.
Well, the time frame is not there though.
Yeah.
The time, because the
because
signing days before
they'll do the early signing.
Yeah. So the draft's not till April. Let's see what. Yeah, I think we'll see Kelvonte back. Woodard was playing a lot on special teams. I think he did get some snaps. I didn't see him a whole lot out there in terms of being targeted or anything like that. Woodard actually was the one that got the penalty.
Yep.
On the Deshaun, which was a fair call because that kind of sprung Deshaun Jameson. Although I will say I like the blocking that we had on that play when he scored. And the special teams in that regard was encouraging. Again, the punt stuff is a work in progress with Bishevsky. I wish we had another leg there, honestly, to compete with them and push them. But it is what it is. Hopefully, with usage, we're not punting.
Deshaun Jameson. Throw him out there. I'm just going to nominate Deshaun Jameson for everything.
Schooler was a pleasant surprise. He not just the catches, right, in the run after catch, but the Bijan run, which I saw highlighted as well. He blocked his man 30 yards downfield. He was actually on that same side as the tight end, blocked his man all the way downfield. And he's one of those guys, again, core special teamer, will be involved. That's somebody who they can use at different points because he's a bigger body too, run game wise. The slot thing too. I want to go back to the slot thing. We have a lot of options.
Real quick with Schuler. Why is it such a surprise? I mean, he came from a Oregon offense and also a Arizona offense, which are both high-powered offenses where they like to get the ball out to their quick twitch receivers as much as possible. Why is that such a big surprise? Is it just because he's been on the team for a week? Okay. Okay.
It's like and he played kind of early. He's like been here for like how many practices do you think he's even been at?
Well, I think that also is Tom Herman's way of saying, all the grad transfers who didn't come to Texas, feel like you guys could have been playing right away for a very, very good team. So
I mean, we had 2 grad transfers score touchdowns because Tarek Black was phenomenal. He looked good.
Because that's for the Pac-12.
It's pronounced Schooler. It's weird because at the game, if you're at the game, they say Schuler.
Yep.
But it's Schooler, so
Schooler.
Yeah, so I don't mind being grad transfer you, by the way.
I'll take it. Fresh Prince 512.
What?
Thank you, sir. Giles deserves some love. Giles deserves some love.
Thank you, Fresh Prince 512. Another awesome. Day one. And I agree with you. Oscar Giles has recruited his butt off.
Mm-hmm.
And You're starting to see the development. The first play of the game too, the very first defensive play of the game, I actually gave a lot of credit to Moro Jomo there because he destroyed the right tackle abruptly, and the guy threw the ball so short that the guy wasn't able to catch it on the screen, and that was on a Jomo side. So we saw my boy. That's why I picked him to be in my 5 breakout players. The man child, Alfred Collins, come in there and get a sack, and
Yep.
not just get a sack, but he also had another play that I saw where he was in on a run stop. And I was like, was that him or Keandre Coburn? Like, who was that? Just blowing stuff up. Tavondre Sweat, we all saw where he destroyed the center, right? And just is a maniac and somebody who is a sneaky good pass rusher too. So
I'd love to see him in
the
goal line.
pieces.
Like our defensive line and goal line.
Oh, you're not gonna be able to go up the middle because they're gonna put the big boys next to each other where they go Sweat Coburn. Good luck.
But we have speed at the linebacker position too. So if you I'm kind of interested to see that. I don't want it at the 1 yard line, but maybe like the 3 yard line.
Jatavian Sanders is gonna be your next, probably like a Joseph Osai type player. Like, ooh, it's getting nasty. They're doing a great job. And Oscar Giles deserves a lot of credit because he took heat early when he came back to Texas. So definitely want to. Robert Davidson said we need a real test, not just UTEP. Well, we're going up in the test against Texas Tech. I agree. We definitely want to. We're happy our guys played well, but it's like with a grain of salt because the opponent was terrible. But we've played terrible opponents before and kept bad teams or given bad teams false hope. So, I just appreciate the fact that they came out there, had a professional effort, was enthusiastic about it, especially when you feel like something's being, potentially being taken away from you, right? You want to go out there and put forth, and then let's touch on this, seeing what happened during the day and the catastrophes at 11 a.m. And let's be real too. The team we're getting ready to play next almost lost to Houston Baptist. And I haven't even really gone into that film yet. But when you're beating Houston Baptist 35-33 for Texas Tech on a day where Kansas State goes down, on a day where Kansas goes down, on a day where Iowa State goes down, and they have one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and but their offensive line falls apart, and they're giving up kick returns for touchdowns left and right to the damn Sun Belt. Now it's like, all right, Texas, you got to carry the bag. And when I say carry the bag, that means you got to go through Oklahoma. Because somebody, I think it was Jamin, said, would you compare OU's performance versus ours? But
similar.
At the end of the day, it was very similar. Right?
Similar.
Yeah.
They did what they were supposed to do. They dominated both sides of the ball, all phases of the game. That's all that can be said. You can't take anything from it. You can't say, oh, our defense was better than their defense. It's something that we just knew that we were going to blow out.
No, because the Missouri State quarterback was terrible and was making weird decisions. I understand the pressure, and Alex Grinch was heating him up, but even when he had a little bit of time, he was just doing weird stuff. Going to Spencer Rattler, though, Spencer Rattler looked very, very good. Played with a lot of comp. He looked like a Lincoln Riley quarterback. Yep. He threw the ball. He already threw the ball way better than, from a standpoint of the ball, the way the ball looks coming out of his hand. It looks way better than Jalen Hurts. Okay. So that's why I've already said, Texas fans, all of us, you need to set the expectation right now that he's going to be amazing when we play them, beat them anyway. Okay. I already told y'all, because I said in the season preview, Marvin Mims was going to be a problem. You saw what he did, right? Number 17, the young freshman, just looks like another Hollywood Brown, right? Rambo's still there. Theo Weiss was looking good. So I'm not surprised. Stogner was out there beasting out, right? Like they're loaded. They're loaded. And I know, and you don't get caught up in the Seth McGowan stuff versus Bijan Robinson guys. They're in two different situations. For the ignorant people out there that want to criticize, Bijan Robinson only had 38 yards, blah, blah, blah. He's playing. He got like 5 touches, and he's
Yeah.
playing behind 2 other running backs. Whereas all the OU Kennedy Brooks is gone, right? All these other brothers weren't even there. So Seth McGowan got to eat as much as he wanted. There's 2 different situations. So I don't understand people getting into arguments and all this type of stuff, over the situation. But OU looked like I expected them to look, right? Spencer Rattler, Spencer Rattler is getting the hype because of Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley's look at the last 3 quarterbacks. And then you see a kid come out there throwing the ball like that, where he's able to flick his wrist and it's 55 yards hitting somebody in the chest. What do you think the prognosticators are looking at? We have to go beat them.
I mean, Lincoln Riley does a great job of putting his players in positions to succeed, and he's doing that. He's done it. He has a very good track record with quarterbacks and wide receivers on just the scheme. I'm just hoping that the premonition in QB1 by his backup quarterback comes true, where if you guys didn't see it, they're sitting there in the weight room talking. He goes, "Oh yeah, when you're playing at Oklahoma, you're gonna lose 3 times to Texas." And I'm just hoping that comes true.
I see it coming.
Yeah, 3 times though. He says 3 times, so all 3 years.
I see it coming. Because the one thing is, as good as he is, he doesn't move like Kyler moved. Like Kyler was a whole nother animal, right?
No one moves like how Kyler
when you
moved.
look at Kyler this weekend, people are like, "Oh, Kyler." I'm like, anybody that watched Allen football, you already knew what it was, right? So, but seeing Spencer Rattler, really, really good. But Sam Ellinger, now that we've leveled up, I feel like from a scheme perspective at least, maybe not leveled up, but I don't feel like we're going to be out coached, like viciously out coached, and we can do some things like Mike Yersich versus Alex Grinch is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I know you got Pat Fields back there and Buki's playing better, but all these brothers out here, the way Tariq Black looks, the way Joshua Moore's running routes, good luck. You ain't gonna be able to play man against us.
We haven't even seen Jake Smith.
I haven't seen Jake Smith yet.
We've only seen Cade Brewer really in the passing game. I mean, I think who's number 14 again? I think he caught a pass.
This offense has a chance to be the first elite offense at Texas since Colt. Stop hating on Luka. Oh, you were the one that got on me on Twitter. Okay, so for context, I'm not a Luka hater. I'm a Spurs fan. I was not hating on Luka Doncic. Just quick sidebar. Luka Doncic, for those who don't know, was named first team All NBA today. Was the first player that made All NBA first team in his within the first 2 seasons since Tim Duncan. But all I did on Twitter was I came on top of the tweet and said, quick reminder that Tim Duncan was first team All NBA his rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
And then in year 2 won a championship. So there's still a level of difference, and I just wanted to highlight that. I'm not hating on Luka. Anyway, so I want to touch on something else though. So Joshua Moore said he's the fastest person on the team, and then he said Jake Smith is second. I would put my money on Tyler Owens. I saw him almost catch an Olympian.
Yeah,
so
a guy who's going to win a gold medal in the future. He's going to win a gold medal in the future.
Matthew Bowling, that is.
Yes, the guy
in
Georgia. Yeah.
Yes. However, I admire Joshua Moore's confidence. I admire, but with all that being said, I've seen Tyler Owens run. I would put my money on. Now it also depends. Like if we're talking about a 100-yard dash, I'm definitely picking Tyler Owens. I don't know if he's talking about a 40, might be a little different.
Yeah.
Talking about whose 40 is fast, because that does make somewhat of a difference, right? So I would be very curious to see that. But them arguing about that I love that stuff. Guys racing. That's what the Chiefs do. The Chiefs do that a lot. Like if you ask me, Cole Hardiman, he's not going to say Cheetah's faster than him, and then Cheetah's going to say he's faster than him, right? Like that's that competition. Jameson, right? Somebody said Jameson's going to say he's the fastest. Jameson's what was it? The 3-cone drill was unbelievable when he came out of high school, I don't think anybody on the team has a better one than him. So, hey, these brothers competing and arguing with each other, you love to see it. Kieran, thank you for the donation. I wasn't hating on Luca. Coburn wins the 1500 meter
Easily.
easy.
In the cart that he gets to drive around.
Man, I really want it though for Tyler Owens. And I know he's going to blow somebody up on special teams this year. It's coming. I'm speaking that into existence. But just in whatever role we get to see him play, because he's one of those people who has too many tools. And this, again, on the coaching staff, they've got to get the light to turn on because
I think he
the
could be
tools
Isaiah
are there.
Simmons.
Yeah.
A poor
He's
man
scary.
version. I don't know if he could beat him
yeah.
because he's a special player, but
Yeah.
he has the speed, he has the size. I just want to see the instincts now. That's it.
Yeah, some of you guys are agreeing with me. Tyler Owens is the fastest person on the team.
Yeah, no, that's easy. That's easy.
I want to talk about the tight ends. So they played 4 tight ends with no problem, right? Like in terms of the way they were rotating, all 4 played relatively early. We got to see Braden get his first 2 catches back to back and look good catching the football. Somebody who, hey, is this guy? And what you hear from them is, hey, Kay Brewer and Jarrett Wiley are your better blockers. And then Braden and Malcolm Epps are your more receiver type guys. Now, we know Kay Brewer can be a very, very good wide receiver. This is something they've had an issue with. Bill Curlin, who's on here, has highlighted this where they've just flat out missed Cade Brewer on seam routes multiple times for whatever reason. And he can do all those things. I think Jarrett Wiley is going to be a very good fully – if you're talking about NFL, because I'll never forget Tom Herman said this, I think, over the summer. He said, of all my he's like, I know Jarrett Wiley's going to play on Sundays. And you just look at the guy's body, right? So all these guys have potential, but the way they were able to get them all out there and rotate them in, the cool things that they're going to be able to do with the personnel. So they ran an option when Hudson Card was in the game. They ran the play where they fake, it was like a sweep, like kind of a jet sweep motion, fake the dive to Roshan, and then he lateraled it to Malcolm Epps. I'm very curious to see what they build off of those type of plays when you see that type of creativity. Just the fact that we were motioning people is exciting. I sent you a thing today about the Cowboys and the lack of.
No, it wasn't just the Cowboys. It was the
NFL.
The whole NFL statistical breakdown of motion pre-snap motions. And the top 12, you said, the top 12 all won. That were over what the 91% or something like that. I didn't remember what the percentage was.
It was so of the teams that had the most pre-snap motion or motion at the snap. So they ranked them from top to bottom. Who did it? What percentage by play? Right. Mm-hmm. The first 12 people won, and the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, were number 1. And anybody that watched that Sunday Night Football game saw all the motion that Sean McVay was deploying, right? The Cowboys were 26, and our beloved Jason Garrett, who's now the offensive coordinator of the New York Giants, Giants were 30th. And so that creativity, and I was thinking about it, I'm like, damn, like just the differences between what I saw from my Cowboys on Sunday pre-snap and what I saw from Texas Longhorns pre-snap and some of the things that they do. So you have to be very, very excited for those type of looks because there's going to be plays this year where we get a touchdown because we're going to catch somebody not lined up properly, right? Sometimes you can just manipulate your way into easy yardage, right? Easy yardage, or just playing the leverage game. Hey, we shifted this way. New England Patriots, it was so much fun watching football all weekend. New England Patriots trying to play at the goal line. They motioned 4 wide. They started with trips. They motioned the 4th wide receiver over for a stack, and they have is a tight end on the right, and then they pull the guard, run a little quarterback counter, and Cam Newton walks into the end zone, right? Because you created leverage. It's just a numbers game. It's not deep sometimes, but some of these coaches get stuck, right? And they don't add these layers and these wrinkles. And we finally have it. Like, when's the last time you felt that way at Texas with
Brian Harsin?
Brian Harsin, right?
Brian Harsin, easily. It was the last quarterback. I mean, that was last
Offensive coordinator.
offensive coordinator
And
that
he
would
just
be able
didn't.
to do that.
And as good as Harsin was, he didn't have. No disrespect to David Ash or anybody like that, but like they didn't have the elite like quarterback to make it
That
hum.
Yursich has right now.
Yeah, yeah. But that was the last time you felt that way.
Well, I mean, the
like,
David Ash
we're
thing,
like really
he was too young
people.
when he had him. David Ash thing was too young. He was too young when he had him. So, do you want to now touch on the Big Ten?
Yeah, let's talk about the Big Ten. So, for those who didn't hear, what day are they coming back? October 24th.
24th.
So, for those
I
who
think it's
don't know,
trash. I'll be honest.
Oh, go ahead. Hey, go jump in.
I just like I hate the fact that like you guys think that you could play less games than everyone else, and then still have a seat at the table. For lack of better words, it's horse shit, man. Like I trust me, I know that Ohio State is one of the 4 best teams in the nation. I know it. But you're taking away about another 25% extra games off of a team. I mean, they would legitimately have to have 2 teams that are undefeated in their Big Ten championship. So, I mean, and just for them to be that refreshed, and not only that, they get to play during the dead period. So they're actually still used to playing. When we have a month off between the bowl game and the play and the conference championship and the bowl game, that there's a lot of rust within the first couple of quarters that teams face, and that's why a lot of teams get blown out. So if you're going straight from, oh yeah, we just played our Big Ten championship, to, oh, we're used to playing at this high level.
King.
Yes.
Go off, King. No,
Terrible.
Keep going, Tran.
Terrible. It's to me, it's just not fair. The fact that they see us, oh, they were able to make it work, so okay, we'll jump in. We'll throw our name in the hat now, and there's no more bets. The roulette table has been spun. Stop it. I mean, it's legit. Like, I mean, you may think differently, but that's the truth, I think.
I actually agree with a lot of the points you made from a standpoint of, so it's multidimensional, right? Because the college football doesn't feel the same without them. And also I'm also looking at it from the standpoint of validating. I know how good Texas can be. I said on the BJ Foster video that the only, and I know we have a lot of OU fans in here, and y'all are 5-time straight champs. You're gonna feel the same way of what I'm about to say. The only team that can stop Texas is us. I now feel like if we play our best possible football, you're not gonna beat us. I feel that way. And if I'm an OU fan, however you want, you can feel the same way too. But that's how I feel. So because I feel that way about my football team this particular season, I want us to be remembered in a positive light. So we got to go beat people, because it ain't going to happen in the Big 12. So now when, if we can get a chance to play where, we get to the playoffs, God willing, football's still around, and Corona is starting to slow, and hopefully all those things, right? Then we can go and potentially defeat one of those teams, or if we have to defeat a SEC team and a Big Ten team gets taken out, but at least people can say, hey, they had a seat at the table, and we won anyway. Because what I don't want is the whole asterisk thing. Now, I'll take an asterisk championship. I'll take an asterisk playoff appearance. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I also want to beat the best. And if they're not around, we can't say that. Now, to your point about them kind of waiting on the side and seeing how things went, and then they get a little, they're like, oh, these guys were able to do it without a hitch the last few weeks. The SEC's getting ready to take off. What's our excuse? They're hiding behind some of the rapid testing stuff and the myocarditis, which a lot of that stuff was debunked in a lot of ways. And I understand the element, and some people are saying, hey, well, the Big Ten did a good job of establishing new testing protocols. Like, they're going to have daily testing and things. And so it's a double-edged kind of sword for me, but I definitely feel you when it comes to bowl season, because if you're only playing 8 games and We have already, and the problem is the Big 12's already lost 3 games to the Sun Belt. And they're going to come in getting all this love from the national media and the pundits that probably won't be warranted, right? So there's a lot to look out for just from that particular aspect. But I'm glad that they're back because I want to. I want to see Ohio State play. I want to see Justin Fields play.
I really wouldn't have cared if it was if they said, okay, we're gonna hold off the season for 3 weeks and then we'll start the third week. But we're already almost 2 months in to the season, and then they jump in mid-season. To me, it's just it does cause an unfair advantage. And I'll admit it, Ohio State's one of the 4 best teams, if not one of the top 2 best teams in the nation, just because that beats Justin Fields.
I'm curious to see is Wyatt Davis going to be allowed to come back? Their stud guard, like Sean Wade declared. So like, what are they? Yeah, like the guys that were declaring, but like they were declaring because they felt hopeless. Like they wasn't going to be a season. Now you're hearing like Dylan McCaffrey is going to leave Michigan because he lost the job to Joe Milton at quarterback. So, I mean, it's a lot of storylines popping up all of a sudden because they're getting ready to hit the go button. But the Big Ten, I mean, the damage has been done for the perception of their conference and being able to recruit against them, assuming that these conferences are even still the same in the near future. I honestly think within the next 3 to 4 years, everything's gonna get blown up anyway. Just from my view. I mean, how can they stay the same? Look at the Pac-12 right now. How can they stay the same? How can they stay with the current college football infrastructure, even when after COVID?
Only way is if UCLA and USC get to start utilizing their monetary funds from their alumni.
But even when they can, like Nebraska, right? Like when Nebraska and they were feeling some type of way, like what the hell are we doing, right? Like all there were bridges burned behind closed doors. You can't say that there weren't with how ugly this thing got, with the way the leaks were coming out of some of these meetings and people having ulterior motives. It's very, very interesting stuff. I'm gonna catch up on the chat here real quick. Tran, I appreciate your passion about the Big Ten conversation. I can tell you, but you have been waiting to get that off your chest all day.
I mean, I actually kind of held off from me and you texting back and forth about it because I think Brandon was the one who told us early this morning that it happened. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Yeah, so no agent signing, so they are allowed to come back. That's what they're saying.
They are allowed to come back?
So they didn't sign an agent, so they can't come back.
Who? Wyatt can?
Wyatt and Wade.
And Wade too?
Yeah. If they didn't sign an agent, I guess that makes sense.
Oh, got you. I got you. Yeah, I'm curious. I haven't done any research about that before coming on here, so I don't know if he said Nebraska went from the top. My man Rob Maltz. What's up, man? Nebraska went from the top rope. Oh boy. That was funny. Oh man. Y'all be easy. I don't know why are we fighting in the chat. Let's be easy here. We got football back. We should be thankful for that. So I do want to get back to Texas because there's some other players we got to talk about. So Brennan Eagles was the topic of discussion before everything kind of went sideways with BJ, because he had a very interesting football game, right? He runs a half-ass route, let's just be real, and the ball almost got picked off on the second drive, and the miscommunication with Sam. Sam's getting frustrated. And Brennan just doesn't seem locked in. You're immediately like, and we were talking throughout the game ourselves, like, well, guess this is why he doesn't try out the ones anymore.
Yep.
And then he makes the play with when Casey Thompson comes in, because we're going to get to talking about the quarterbacks as well. But where he high points football and catches off the guy's helmet, and he does the amazing, which we've seen Brennan do multiple times. But talk to me just in terms of the consistency issues that we're seeing from Brennan, and because I still feel like he can be as good a wide receiver as anybody on this group. I really feel that way.
I mean,
He's
your
got all the
play,
physical talent.
yeah, your player comp was always Baby Dez.
Yeah,
Just the physical aspect of his game. He's just got to get the playbook down, and I think Yursic's playbook is way more complex than Tim Beck's playbook. So I mean, he's just got to get that down.
Sorry, K-Law said Wade signed with an agent, so Wade's
Okay,
gone.
so he's gone.
Okay, so somebody check on Wyatt Davis, please. Oh, go ahead, Tran. I'm sorry.
But no. He just has to get the playbook down, and he's just got to stay focused, because he is a phenomenal athlete. And what this game has shown us too, this past game showed us, is that it doesn't matter if you're the starting deep wide out. You're gonna get your touches. You're gonna get your shot and targets. They definitely distribute the ball. And it's not like he's just eyeing down one receiver, which I think he's going to start eyeing down Josh Moore as his first read from here on out. But he's going to get his opportunities, and he's too good of an athlete, like you've said, to not get targets. So I don't think there's really much that we need to worry about for him. It's just him grasping and understanding the playbook and the different reads, or the different, because I did see one thing that I did notice was Sam was calling out audibles too, pointing where the linebacker and the nickel corner was at, and you change plays at it. So get those down, and he'll be fine.
And so with Brennan too, he's just got to get to a point where you're going full, like if he played with the intensity that Jordan Whittington plays with, right, where everything out there full speed. And the other thing I was going to say, just moving back to Joshua Moore, I can't wait to see Joshua Moore and Jake Smith on the field at the same time. you see what I'm saying? Like, it's
on the same side too.
Yeah, that's going to be a serious issue, right? And how they're used, the motion that comes into play, because they're going to motion Jake Smith like crazy, right? And finding matchups. There's going to be a time where they snap the ball, his man's not all the way across, or hey, down in the goal line, we did this with Tariq Black, where we ran the double drags, and he scores on that. And you're not going to find these guys running across the field like that, especially going through trash. Like, there's no way you're going to be able to keep up with them. And then if you're a man, and if you're in zone, these guys can sit it down. They're quick. They can get out of it. Like, there's so much potential there with that group that I get giddy thinking about it, because I told you, Jake Smith looks the part now. And it was actually very, in a weird way, it worked out for us that he didn't play. I'm not saying we were fortunate that he was injured, but just from the standpoint of getting to see the rest of the group, right? And them getting, like, we saw a lot of Marcus Washington. I thought Marcus Washington got an opportunity to play early, and then he had a drop later that was disappointing with Casey, but he made a high-level touchdown catch, made a really nice catch when Sam was in there. So just seeing all these folks a part of the rotation, I don't care what your DBs look like, especially in the Big 12. I mean, come on. Like, even the TCU group's probably the best group, I would probably say, either TCU or Iowa State, but that's going to be a handful for those guys.
Yeah, it's because TCU, they're going to have two defensive backs that are going to be the guys who get drafted or or NFL potential. I don't think that everyone across the board is going to be just lockdown corners. So he got to lock down 4, sometimes even 5 different receivers, and that's what I'm so excited about. And you know what, we get an early test from them right after the Texas Tech game, so that's going to be an interesting game to look at.
I want to address something that Sal Hernandez just brought up.
Out.
Hold on. Who was that said they saw you? Did we address that, Tran?
No, we didn't.
It was at the beginning of the chat.
Something about the
somebody
motorcycle.
somebody said you guys saw Tran this weekend moving a motorcycle and didn't come say hi. Please identify yourself. Who was that?
I don't know. I'm reading it. I'm all the way at the top.
I'm gonna get to Sal Hernandez.
It was Darius Velez, but
okay. So Darius, if you're still here, Tran said that was him.
It was. I was helping our friend Brandon, who's been on this channel, move his motorcycle to his new home. Yeah. Oh, it's Dominic. Yeah, it's Dominic.
Dominic Vega.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dominic said, "Oh, yeah. First Dominic came with a 2 first. So thank you for confirming that Wyatt Davis can come back, and then he said that was me. So Tran said you should have come say what's up to him, man.
Yeah. Was that the house or was that the apartment that he was at? That you saw me. Tran, I saw you in the bathroom during the conference championship. Dude, trust me, there are so many people who have seen us coming out of at the urinal.
Right, the awkwardly.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah. Fortunately, a lot of people know the gentleman, etiquette, right? If it's a crowded bathroom, yeah, you go to the stall next to the guy. But if it's, we've all had that awkward person at work where there's 16 urinals and they come right to the one right next to you, and then try to start up a conversation.
Yeah,
very, very weird. Don't understand social cues. But I will say, those of you who have seen us, whether it was in Dallas at the games or here at UT, y'all been normal.
Don't be the chatty one.
Don't be the chatty one. All right. Hey, how you doing, bud? And then it's like you're holding your meat, and they're like, "Is everything shaking?" Just like knock it off. Anyway, I said all that to say this. Sal Hernandez brought up the A&M wide receivers, and I said that because I thought of Brandon, who we will do another college football roundtable. I'm actually going to have some Tech people on next week too, so they can talk their mess before they get beat down. 2 people that I know that are Texas Tech fans, they will get beat down in Lubbock, no doubt about it. But Brandon, Jamon Osmond opts out, and I'm like, hey, what's up with the Texas A&M wide receivers? Because the brother Buckley tore his ACL, and they were already kind of thin, and so now you don't have Osmond. I'm like, so we just throwing the tight ends now, and then Baylor Cupp's out?
I think Demis is that good.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a baby. You're not, but even with that, right? Like even George Pickens was cold last year. They still had other veteran dudes around him. Like
it may be kind of like a BJ situation that he may have gotten bypassed on the depth chart, and he was pissed and he left.
How is he? But he was the best receiver.
I get that, and that's what I'm saying is maybe he was bypassed, and that's why he was mad about that. And he's just like, okay, well,
by who?
I put by Demis.
But they need more than one wide receiver on the field.
I get that, but
how can you get by? They can both play. I don't understand.
I understand that, but you don't know what goes through kids' minds, especially someone who actually has put out some pretty good tape in the SEC. Maybe he just thinks that if he's not getting the targets that he's deserved or not deserved.
But what is so weird because everything out of their camp was their whole offense was going to run through him.
Was it?
Especially after last season, he had like 900 yards. Like you don't just sneeze that off. Like
Oh,
I
I get
understand
that.
they didn't throw that much at the end of the season because old boy was throwing for like 95 yards a game. But I'm just confused, like that whole situation with their wide receiver core. I don't know. We'll see if they just come out there and stay in 12 personnel, like I told Brandon, for 95% of the game, and say, you know what, we're going to try to beat y'all the old school way. But I don't know. It's interesting. If anybody has any insight to what's going on, because they said he didn't even come to practice for like 2 weeks, and then he just like bounced. So it was really really weird. Where to me, where there's smoke, there's fire. Uh, Sal, thank you for asking the question. We're gonna get Brandon back on here so he can address this because I'm like, bro, like I think you're gonna beat Vanderbilt. You should beat Vanderbilt. However, where there's smoke, there's fire. They're gonna beat Vanderbilt. He seems. I feel confident about that. But
Is that this weekend? Are
the
they kicking off?
26th.
Okay, so they're kicking off all weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Let's see what else we got here. We're gonna go for about 10 more minutes.
Someone
Appreciate
brought up
everybody.
Greg Kelly. I heard recently on the Fighter and the Kid podcast that they're supposed to have him on. They said he transferred out of Texas and he may be just quitting football. That's what Brendan Schaub said. So someone brought up Greg Kelly.
Yeah, I know he had uh I'm gonna get to your comment here in a second, Tracy. I know he had enrolled already and he had done, I think, a tryout or whatever. I don't think they had taken, I think what happened was they didn't take any more walk-ons or something like that. And I don't know why that was. I don't know if it was related to them already dealing with a lot um, with the social um, the social unrest and the social issues that they were dealing with, and then on top of that, we're going to take on a high profile walk on. I don't know. This is just me speculating as to what was going through the coaching staff's mind, and even up to Cristo Conti, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish him the best of luck if he wants to continue playing football and just fulfill the dream of being a college football player. Definitely wish him the best of luck. Seems like a very nice young man, but you know, him not being here. I mean, it was more for the story for us as fans. I mean, like we stand Kai Money now, so I don't know what else to tell you. Like, um, so Tracy said you said you had concerns about LJ Johnson. What are those concerns, if you don't mind me asking? I may be out of the loop there. In terms of the player, like, do you prefer
I
Kamar
I,
Wheaton or like
I
what?
haven't really heard any concerns.
Yeah.
Are you asking me or are you asking Tracy?
No, Tracy.
Oh,
Tracy
okay.
said that. He said I have concerns. Mm, may not like the preference. Um, yeah, I stand Kai Money. RJ got the start. RJ, Rojo should have had more yards if it wasn't for the penalties. But he played fantastic as always with his effort. Thought all of our running backs ran hard. Uh, the you know, and the run game, for people concerned about the run game stuff, the run game is going to be good, just a function of tempo and how good we are in the throw game. That alone will get what we need from there, and we have explosive runners. You saw that with Bijan Robinson. As long as our freaking right guard doesn't fall down, because at first it was like, we were like, oh, did he miss? When things happen fast and you're at the game and they don't show replays, you can't see like why somebody got a 2-yard gain or got tackled at the line of scrimmage. But then when I'm able to watch it again, I'm like, oh, he would have got like 15 yards on that if the brother blocked somebody, right? And so those are the type of things we got to pay attention to. But I'm not. The run game they still got over 200 yards rushing, like, and we didn't really run the quarterback like that either. Sam had a couple scrambles. That was it. There wasn't really any design runs I saw from him. Um, so let's talk about the backup quarterbacks, Hudson Card and Casey Thompson. So that's also become a thing. Now, before I get to that, I was very, very pleased that Tom Herman brought up Jaquindon Jackson and said that, hey, we are purposely kind of holding him back right now. He's still, trying to get that confidence in his knee. And the young man is not even a full year removed from tearing his ACL. So we're taking things slowly. Our goal is to, at some point in the season, get him into a football game, is what he said. And I think that is more than fair. So in regards to the two guys that we got to see, we all, wanted to see extended time for the quarterback. So Tram, starting with Casey, just what were your thoughts on his performance, and then we can move on to Hudson Card.
I was impressed. I was glad that we got to see him throw multiple times, threw for 2 really good touchdowns. One of his incompletions wasn't his fault. It was right on the money. It was just a drop by was it Marcus Washington?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So he looked sharp, and we know he's quick twitch too. I'm glad I'm glad it wasn't like he got happy feet and he'd hike the ball and then his first read would be gone and he'd just take off and run like we normally see. So it was refreshing to let him get a couple drives in, and I think what did he have, 7, 8 passes or something like that, completions.
Yeah, I think completions. Yeah,
and he looked good. The ball placement was there. He had command of the offense. He seemed to know where he had good rapport with his wide receivers. I really liked him. I mean, that's I'd give it a B plus, definitely.
I think he got a little bit more confidence the more he was in there, and just it's tough, right, when you don't get to play very much and you've been waiting and waiting and waiting for a few years. So I think from one particular standpoint, because he did come in there initially with the first team offensive line still in the third quarter before they rotated everybody out. But going to Hudson Card's been playing football this whole time, right? Coming in, even though it was at high school, he hasn't had to wait for, like, he in terms of just watching somebody play for a couple years. So while Hudson played with like the third string guys, and because a lot of people were commenting about Hudson's poise. Hudson was very poised, but he's also had more live bullets than Casey has recently. They both had a good command of what they were doing in there. And I keep saying that across the board with guys at multiple positions, understanding where to go. Hudson Card, you can kind of see already.
Let's be honest. Hudson Card probably was playing better competition than UTEP in high school.
Oh yeah. I say that, and then we're gonna throw out the Stephen A. Smith disclaimer, but no disrespect.
Yeah, of course, no disrespect.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for all those guys. I mean, just them getting some live reps, and I really, really wanted to see Hudson get a touchdown there with Paxton Anderson. That was really tough catch. I apologize for saying the guy dropped the ball. That was like an NFL type play.
If he would have caught that would have been probably the best catch of the night.
Tracy said LJ Johnson plays in true I formation offense that can translate into a spread system. I mean, can he block? Can he handle mesh points? Can he catch? All valid concerns, especially the mesh points there. I'm with you, but you also got to factor in that's his high school offense. They're evaluating these kids also at camps 7-on-7. So Tracy, they're exposed to a lot more than just their high school tape, even the running backs now. So, even when you factor in like a Bijan Robinson, the offense he played in, where he played a more traditional offense that we see today. But when these guys compete at other areas, other levels, and moving around, almost like an AAU type circuit, you can make those evaluations. Now you want to see it in the games. I'm with you, and you want to see him be able to catch the ball in the style offense we have. But these guys make projections for a reason, right? And no matter what type of offense people play in, you'll see some of these high schools running some funky ass offenses. Right? Some of these coaches don't know what the hell they're doing, but they can still pick out the kid and say, he's got it. We can work with them. He'll be fine, right? And the cool thing about LJ is when he gets here, we'll still have some really good depth. So it's not like he's going to be he'll have time to ramp, in my opinion, versus him coming here and saying, oh, we need him to be ready to take 10 to 15 carries day one. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Actually, there is Whataburger in Florida.
Now, guys, it's all about the competition. That's why you're excited for Quinn Ewers, right? From a quarterback perspective, a lot of people are saying, um, "Oh, catch the wave. What's good, man? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." Um, and guys, as you check in, like I said, when you come in and take attendance, make sure you hit that like button. That's your entry in here. Um, and hanging out with us. Got 75 likes, but 127 people are allegedly in the chat.
And someone took away that dislike.
Somebody took away the dislike. I feel like somebody comes on. One of
Just
you,
doesn't
and
want.
one of you guys or gals is doing it to keep me honest. I feel like I don't know. Keep me, we got to keep brothers humble here. So we're just gonna go ahead and hit that dislike button. I don't know.
We are in Austin.
Yeah, we're in Austin. Oh, I want to hear what my man Ed has to say. He said, "Great video on BJ. I'm old school. I play football. I totally agree. If they want to suspend him or discipline him, I'm good with that. You left us either with us or you against us. That was a real one." No, that was really who I wanted to hear from. Oh, great call out, Cody. Hit the noti bell. If you want to know when these lives go up, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that notification button for sure. But going back to Edward's point, I was so incredibly humbled, and I learned a lot from you guys. I call you guys some of you guys I consider y'all like elders, right? Hearing from you guys that chimed in with either your own personal experiences or how you guys felt, because you guys are now aware enough to say we understand that times are changing. I like Dallas Schwartz was saying earlier. Shout out to Dallas Schwartz. I don't know if he's in the chat or not, but he was saying, "Hey, we grew up in a more military style of coaching, where you weren't even allowed to like get into an argument with the coach. You weren't allowed to like say, why am I not getting the ball? Like you couldn't. There was no questioning anything. You just, yes sir, yes man. You move forward, right? And so hearing them process this and say, we understand things are going differently. I may not agree with what happened, but we do agree. And I think most people's answer was love. Respond with love. BJ's a good kid. We love his family. We do want him here if he wants to be here, but don't let it happen again. But let's love on the kid. And I heard that from a lot of older guys, which surprised me, quite frankly. I thought a lot of people were going to be like, go kick rocks. Honestly, stay woke. $20. Keep the excellent analysis going, Stephen Tran.
Appreciate
Thank you. Thank you. You guys are amazing tonight. You guys really, really are amazing tonight. I really appreciate that. But yeah, those of you guys who are older that made those comments, it was really, really enlightening for me personally. Seriously, if you guys haven't watched the BJ video we made, check that out. But go look at the comments of what people were saying in there. It was really, really good stuff from people that really care, not just about the program, but you care about the kid, right? Because the solution sometimes is just to tell somebody to go kick rocks, because now you're just quitting on them too. Right? That doesn't help the case. And to hear Tom Herman say it's, and I believed him when he said it. When he said it's water under the bridge moving forward, doesn't mean you're going to play. It's a meritocracy. There's a reason why Chris Brown's in there. We all know that. Like no one, I didn't get anybody on the channel. There were people that were surprised that BJ wasn't starting, but no one was like, oh, I'm surprised Chris Brown is starting over him. You see what I'm saying? Like it wasn't. So some of this expectation was already there, Tran.
No, yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything that was mentioned. You know, I do believe so. Even someone wrote down, Saban was talking about it. Hey, you know, there's no way to kick rocks or anything like that. You know, discipline the kid and move on, type of thing. You know, kids make mistakes, and we got to remember that. What is he? 20, 21?
Probably 20 years old. I don't know how old he is, but he's
3 years
20,
in, so he could be 21.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about the mistakes we made when we were 21 and we didn't have the weight of the world on our shoulders. We didn't
Facts.
have a magnifying glass that he has on his shoulders.
Facts. We did dumb shit.
Yep.
Facts. No, I agree. Um, all right, guys, we're getting ready to wrap up here. I appreciate everybody jumping on. Um, love is what makes Texas great. Nah, that's what makes this channel great too. We can have comment even when we disagree, sort through stuff. Um, those of you guys, whether it was arguing about something, let's make sure we try to keep it clean here in the chat and make sure we are respectful for everybody. I know not everybody that follows this channel is a Texas fan. I know a lot of people are rival fans. We were joking the other day. Everything we said on Twitter was out of love
Yeah.
when we said, and it was facts. When we said
our whole team.
nobody knows it was Doc. It was Doc that brought it up. He was like, nobody knows Texas too deep like OU fans. But you can't get a Texas fan to name more than 5 players on OU. So it's like it tells you a lot, right? Like just in terms of who's paying attention to what. OU fans, they know every detail about every player. Sometimes I'll be getting this breaking news and I get a text from an OU fan before I get a text from a Texas fan. What's going on over there? I'm like, damn, is it that rough in Oklahoma? Right?
Yes,
Like,
it is. Yes, it is.
geez, relax.
Hey,
So,
Nathan.
no.
Nathan, reach out to Steven and me, and I'll buy some for your kid.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'll definitely support. Definitely support, Nathan. You got my number, so hit me. You guys have an amazing night, and I'm so thankful for this channel, the way it's growing, what you guys do for us. Liz Martin said, "Coaches go in the living room." I want to read this comment that Liz just left. Coaches go into their living room saying that they will treat them as their kids. You don't turn your back on your son when they quit. You don't let them quit, or at least try. 1,000%.
True.
1,000%. There's a look at Tom Herman and Joe Burrow. I always bring that one up. He recruits him to Ohio State, and Tom Herman's not even there his first year, right? He's already gone on to Houston. Yet they still had that relationship where he's like able to text him still years later.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the relationship that he has with all of those quarterbacks that were in that room, or even I look at Jordan Pouncey, who transferred to him and his brother are at Florida now, right? But the communication that they still have, the love that's still there, it's like, yo, I had to do what was best for me for my football career and move forward because you guys were aware with me and I wasn't gonna, overcome this particular player, what have you. But that relationship is there, and that's what's important.
Jake Bridges, thank you, sir.
Jake Bridges, thank you for the donation. Appreciate you guys. We are out, and as we go out, as I always say, horns always up. Appreciate y'all.
We no longer live.